another Cookie Guys review. Hello everybody and welcome to the episode of Cool Kicks and the Mighty Decisive, this time bringing you a review for the Yuji Sakai 30cm Godzilla Hong Kong Rising action figure on his arrival upon Hong Kong and is just getting ready to melt down from his reactor from the inside out. Alright, from the start you'll notice there are two Godzillas in our presence, and the lighting is shaking already because he's approaching and the landfall is coming. Alright, now right is the reason we have two today. More of a side by side comparison for you. We've always said we've done this, and now we're going to attempt to do a side by side comparison using the Yuji Sakai 30cm of the Ric, the Shounen Ric version, right here on my right, which would be your left, and over here the standard edition, which is a regular paint scheme and not the plexi see-through vinyl that you have in front of you right here. Alright, let's get started. Now, we have the theatrical lighting just to give you that kind of an impression of exactly what you're going to see if you're going to use some special effects or doing some photography with your Choi photography and motion pictures. It's just wonderful. Right off the bat, I want you to notice, now, I love to look at the pearly whites. Using my pointer here today, the pearly whites on the Shounen Ric version from afar, not closing up yet, and so of course I had to say it. Poof. Alright, we're gonna close up here. Look at that. Incredible attention to detail, no doubt. That is detail. His tongue, his chompers there. Okay, we're not gonna go mobile just yet, but I just wanted you to look at the differences in exactly the type of sculpt that you're going to be getting and looking at from that perspective of him looking and glaring into the camera, and even the eyes. Now, as we take a look at the Shounen Ric, again, the Shounen Ric version, those eyes have a almost glass-like reflection. Note the pointer back and forth up on the top there, and then going into his snout, right where the nose is, and of course on the jawline. Okay, now we're gonna get out of the super focus, bring it back, and this time we're taking a look at the almost glass-like reflection that we're being given on his chest. You'll notice that it has almost a see-through vinyl reflective of a pearlescent paint just underneath for the paint scheme, and it's giving you that fiery look. Now, that's where the side-by-side comparison comes in, not only with that aspect of his chest, along his neckline, and the veins that look as if they're burning up and melting to the side, but even the shoulder lines. Pay attention to that paint scheme precise. If you look at his body over here, the standard edition, we're looking again in our wonderful theatrical lighting of our studio. It has an even just as impressive paint scheme that's giving you the amount of reflection and lava-like. It's just incredible. It's almost as if he's come right out of the volcano from the version of a 1984 saga, and I'm telling you, I loved it 100%. It looks like molten lava. All right, so again, from the chest, but if we start off again from the eyes into the mouth, you can notice the big difference, especially with his chompers there. Excuse the lighting, the theatrical lighting is just like lightning and thunder around here. We're trying to maintain power. The generators are firing. Godzilla is helping us. Now if you look at it again with both tongues up close, there's this texture in there. I could go zoom in on our buddy here, the standard version. Excuse the camera, here we go. You zoom in and look at that. The texture on the chompers is just as grand as you would in the Shounen Ric. Okay, I love chompers, and we're going to get in here a little closer. Enough with the theatrical lighting here, so I want you to see the actual paint and under regular lighting to see what we're dealing with here, because this is incredible. Again, the chompers are very impressive, and if you're looking up, we move above here, which is eyes. Okay, oh my goodness, it's again theatrical presentation, looking at you like you're in the movie, and from the snout, the brow up here coming up, the sculpt is Yuji Sakai all the way. There's no doubt about the artisans molding it exactly as he meant his vision to be put forth to you, and just incredible attention to detail. So let's get back. Let's get back now. And I'm gonna turn out the theatrical lighting. It's again, ooh, the thunder and the lightning. Don't be frightened here. So let's get some regular lighting and give you the effect of without the theatrics, so you can get a grander look at these folks. There you go. All right, focus. Look at me. There you go, Gojiras. All right, now listen up, everybody. As you're now looking at a little less lighting, we can just focus on one of these. This is the standard beam of light here to give you the maintain the comparison. Right now, as we're going to take a look at, let's go mobile. Yes, because I want to see you guys as if I'm in a movie and I'm in a helicopter and I'm coming at you, or Super X3 is right up on you. So right now you're looking at his eyes on the Yuji Sakai Shounen Ric, the Shounen Ric version. If you look at his neck and you're looking from that aspect of it, under natural lighting, already you're noticing a major difference as we focus in here. But that difference is a highlight of the see-through plexi, the vinyl, which is really incredible. On his shoulders, you can see right through like a pearlescent shade underneath the paint, which is the fire line, in addition to the molten lava that is represented by the chest outlines, and almost like a gravel or sparkling shimmer of the molding of the plastic, which is intense. It is intense. It's sick. Just the way it's amazing. It just drives you to want to say, Godzilla, let's look at your chompers even more. Okay, so let's get in there. All right, look at that. All right, now what we're looking at right there. Aha! Look at those chompers. The attention to detail on those chompers is, I love them. I love to see that her teeth gleam white and he's not stained with blood. You'll notice he's a friendly Goji. The tongue is textured, even the rooftop of his mouth. Let's get in there. All right, there you go. Because I want to see it. Look at that. The rooftop of his mouth is sculpted so that you can see. And just, he takes a bite out of life, and just, unfortunately, that's the gist of it at the end of there. No pun intended that he's not going to make it. But the Super X3 is going to coat him, and you'll see in some of our Super X3 exclusive footage that they did attempt to keep him cool. Now coming around here on his snout and his brows, you'll note the sculpture, and it was very fine artisans for using even the scales up here near his ears. Incredible attention to detail, even where the snout is. Now, coming around, you're going to notice his neckline and of course those famous scales. Now, remember in the movie that they started to melt really well. That is the paint scheme I've seen here with the pretty much see-through plexi vinyl on those scales. Very well done. So as if to do a stop motion or something that gives you the impression of melting. That's what these buggers are going to do with even an incredible amount of temperature that his reactor was setting off. And if you're looking at his backside there, even where the tail is, it's very well put together. So it's seamless regarding the paint, in addition to his thigh, right there where it's in the backside of his thigh, which leads up to the quadricep, which I too really enjoyed the fact that the plastic. Now, I'm going to tell you something here in a minute. As much as I'm enjoying this see-through paint, this is not something we have not seen before, in the sense that there was a gigantic series burning Godzilla. So we have seen this before, although this is on a shrunk down scale, 30 centimeter versus the gigantic scale. And if we're looking at his chest line there, again, very well done. And now I want to see his claws. Now, so you're paying a premium price for these incredible figures, and you want to look at every aspect of it. And looking at his claws, you get a focus in there. That is incredible. Let's see if we can get a close up with a little bit of a, look at that. His hands on his claws, just superb attention to detail as you focus in there. A little bit of a fuzzy, what is that, a fuzzy on there? A little bit of battle damage from one of his last enemies. But no, I mean, even the elbows up there, coming down on the elbows, incredible. It's as if every stroke of the artisan's tooling was enabling us to get that texture that you see in the movie, and there he is just ready to stomp on us from his torso into the quadriceps, and the sinew of his steps just there. Of course, the Toho branding there, but again, look at the claws. He's ready to step on you. All right, and come down right there, looking at there on the knees. Just incredible. I love the feet, because of course it's the evolution that you've seen on most of these action figures, in this particular case a Rhino statue, is incredible, because that is the weight that carried Gojira and helps him move along. And without this great representation, I mean, most folks would have thought, again, back in the day, dinosaurs, well, they're dragging their tails. No, Godzilla is using this as the counterweight and a very much useful weapon against his enemies, which I really love. So coming back onto the tail, again, the artisans sculpting. The lines are incredible as the evolution of his scales just keep growing and growing. And the paint, again, very seamless, because if you'll notice, the melting action, let's go back, is coming all the way down to that end. All right, there's very little, if any, doubt to say, well, that it didn't melt all the way. Oh no, it's all the way there. The photos and the videos on some of these, focus in there, don't do it justice, but it is incredible. You're going to put a good premium price on Gojira before he almost falls there to his death, but of course not. I've got him. Let's get him down. So this is the Shounen Ric exclusive X-Plus, and you'll note the attention to the eyes. I want to get your eyes, Godzilla. Oh wow, just mighty impressive. You want to see the life of a figure, almost glass-like reflection on those eyes as he's gazing into you, and you're gazing back. Very well done, because there's no doubt about it. If you're looking at him, he's looking back. The ears and the brow line, the jaws and his nose, just incredible attention to detail, folks. But again, I want you to pay close attention again, or reflections of the paint and the fire. If you want to use special lighting for some of the theatrics that you may see in the photos, the promotional photos, and the video of Super X3 with the cadmium shots, you can use the special lighting. All right, this is the natural lighting. You're seeing just the norm, the see-through, the blended plastic on the vinyl, and very well done. So if I put my lighting on it there, you can still see that it is very well put together. All right, so get some more lighting in there on his belly. All right, and again on his torso and on his legs. Just a little bit of lighting so you can see how it really fires up, and that's fine and all. So I'm going to go ahead and now bring him back to the side here. But now, the standard version of the Shounen Ric, but it's still the X-Plus, but not the Shounen Ric version. The standard version, my goodness. If I didn't know there was a Shounen Ric version, I'd be telling you right now, go for it. This is the one you're going to pick up right here. Why? Because just looking at him and his incredible attention to detail yet again on the chompers and on the tongue. Let's bring him forward, and we'll use some lighting here to get in there. Oh my goodness. There's the movie. If you're watching in the movie theater and it's coming to get you, that's it. That's the pose. That'll strike some fear into you that this guy's gonna blow the heck up. The teeth, again, I love the chomper, so you get right in there. There you go. Look at that. Even up on the roof. Yeah, look at the roof. Look for the mouth there. Oh, incredible. The tongue, the texturing. And the artisans at X-Plus, you know, they spare no expense. And just going back on there, again, a lot of the same details. However, even the stance, but you're gonna notice, look at the paint. Let's get back out of here. Let's zoom out, get that lighting right. There you go. Apologize for that. Look at that. The lighting that I'm using to give you a little bit of what was for the Shounen Ric edition is not necessary. Watch as I take it away. It looks like it's on fire and it's glowing all by itself. This is under the natural lighting. That's why I purposely put in that special theatrical lighting, just to kind of say you don't need it on this. With the Shounen Ric, sure, for purposes of creating your photos, creating a burn, filters with the lighting. This one, right out of the box, it's ready. Put it on your film. Look at that. Okay, we look at the veins. The veins causing damage of the molten explosion within his reactor, just seemingly exploding right there into the chest, melting, just the attention to detail is so incredible on this. You think you're watching the movie. There's Destroyer coming up. What I'm saying, you're done for. Why do you fight? Godzilla never gives up. I tell you what, you kept his son in the end, and I'm just loving it. So again, on the shoulders, look at the molten burn. All right, let me see if I can get some. There we go. Look at that. I mean, the paint scheme here, it even looks like it's melting. It's melted right onto his arm. Very seamless. You think, oh, that was an error, the paint leaks. No, look at that. That was done purposefully. To be able to talk to the artisans even here. Look on the backside of what he's got. Look at those scales. In comparison to the Shounen Ric version, yes, these are not looking fully melted, but there's a texture with the paint, and that to me adds another great attention to detail regarding just seamless paint applique. It actually looks like an evolution of the scales. If you look closely, a transition. That's the word I was trying to think of. There's the transition versus the full-on Millertown, that you've got the transition of paint to give you that element of he's slowly but surely decaying. The reactor within on the base of his scales is doing him in. And it's rather sad watching the movie. I didn't. The movie was good, rather almost frightening in a sense, but saddened by, if you look at the backside here of his legs, by the amount of decay and sadness that he was meeting his demise. But at least, he could take down Destroyer with before he bit the bullet, and brought baby Gojira back so that he too could be resurrected and continue the good fight. Now let's look up at the backside here. As I mentioned before, we have the tail. Now this is a big difference here. Now, unlike what you have on the Shounen Ric, this one is just straight up normal tail. You notice there is not a transition in the paint for a meltdown effect, which is quite interesting to say the least, because every aspect of it is incredible. But perhaps this was a preemptive move to suggest that he's getting a little bit of ice, the cadmium from Super X3. I don't know. I really, as much as I love this one, I'll tell you, just Kurkix picking this up, I picked this one up first off. I couldn't get the Shounen Ric version, because this one is hands down 100% right on, spot on with what you see in the movie. However, looking at the tail and the transitions, I can't tell you. I have to be talking to one of their artisans and asking, what happened with that. There's special lighting there. So, but again, if you look at the base of his tail, coming down, very smooth, very seamless. Yeah, easy plop on the tail, warming it up with your hair dryer or such. All right, so it's very, very common. It's very, very unique, because again, this is a version that's going to bite the bullets here at the base of his toes. I'm just loving the fact that there's the detail even as close as his nails right there on the cuticles. All right, pulling out. And then finally, if he doesn't follow me, pardon me, coming back down to the toes and his quadriceps, the knee, incredibly detailed, because the paint does it justice. Yes, the paint and the artisans did a fantastic job giving you, he's coming right out of the movie. So the Shounen Ric was a nice gimmick to be able to give you that see-through plexi, that shrunk down from the gigantic series. But I'm telling you right now, out of the box, if you can get this one, the standard edition of the X-Plus, the artisans, even with his hands, look at that. Look at those knuckles. All right, we're using some descriptive details here, because you may as well be shown the whole show of what he is capable of. So let's move over here onto his arm, on his bicep and his tricep. It's just incredible. If this thing could move, it's telling its story on its own. Back onto his eyes, his brow, his snout. I love the snout. Ever since childhood, just looking at something and saying, "Whoa!" Such attention. He almost is as friendly as a household pet you could have Gojira, and I know why. They seem to have modeled him after one, almost a spaniel, or look at that. And the backs of the ears just going backward like that. There. Of course Godzilla's friendly. He's everyone's friend. I'll put him side down here. A little bit of a side-by-side comparison just to give you the look-see, and realize that there is a major difference. However, they're both worth it. both worth your money's worth. Because the artisans, the fine artisans out of X-Plus and Shounen Ric do them justice. Now again, if you want, because we can, look at the tails and you notice the transition in the paints. Okay, the Shounen Ric on top and the standard X-Plus version on the bottom. Why? That's a good question. I'd like to have a blog and ask them why the transition was not seamless on the basic versus on the Shounen Ric, maybe to give it that difference. And then of course the thighs, but the paint, I'll show you just right now. Look at that, them side by side or back to back as it was there, but for my size by side comparison, I choose first up the Cool Kicks Points Award goes to X-Plus and the standard edition of the 1995 Godzilla Hong Kong landing. Awarded for paint scheme and texture, attention to detail. Hands down, I have to go with this one. 5 out of 5 Cool Kicks with the standard edition. Alright, now looking at the Shounen Ric, nothing to be taken away from him. If you can be able to pick him up, highly recommend him as well. Only I would give him 4 out of 5 because it too has differentiations out of the box. And again, under this lighting, I'm trying to give you some theatrics. I'll see if I can give you again for the darker lighting here, which shows you that with the theatrical lighting, you can actually see and love the see-through paint scheme on that. But that helps, all right? And otherwise, you're going to have to be in person, whereas you're using theatrical lighting on the basic version. You don't need it as much with standard light. You use it here and it's fun for theatrics in a movie. The spotlight coming to get you, the sirens are blaring, Godzilla is coming, Tokyo's about to burn, or wherever you're at. So I might have to step back on that comment because again, now the tail over here drives me. So basically, I'll step back on that comment. I say this one is less the paint, a 4.5 Cool Kicks, and we'll have to be fair and honest, a 4.5 because of its tail. Otherwise, seamless. The artisans at X-Plus, the artisans at Shounen Ric, everybody's teamed up together. These bad boys are highly worth it. More than likely, look for a re-release because, you know, after a while, their products are so well done and fans demand. So I would personally let them know in the blogs, let them know online, compliment them. X-Plus, Shounen Ric, even I'm throwing a shout out. It's near perfection. Explained an explanation for me for regarding the tail. Maybe that's its uniqueness. The unique factor is you're going to get that extra bit of premium quality in the sculpt and the tail to designate from the standard edition of just standard X-Plus, and now you've got the Shounen Ric butting it out of the park. Okay, so again, I think overall it's practically a 5, but I'm going to stick with a 4.5 because there was not continuity. So in a 4.5 Cool Kicks out of 5 for both. Otherwise, 2 thumbs up, Shounen Ric X-Plus. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're still with us and looking at this magnificent sculpt, we have hit over 100 subscribers. There's a giveaway going on. I have some Star Wars figures. I've got perhaps maybe some tiny little Godzillas that the Carson company. Maybe I'll put a survey out there to make it easier so that there's not so, hey, what do you want to pick? We've got multiple prizes to give away. We're excited. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's going to be a new video out there to be saying Cool Kicks gives back. Watch out for it so that you too can take part in this fantastic giveaway. Go out, pick one up if you can. Pre-order when your next one comes out. The 2019 gigantic one is coming out as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else before I should continue to ramble on. That there is that intake of both figures. Shounen Ric site allows the United States to order from their site. I'll put the hyperlink in there. Keep an eye out because new project is coming. They have the 1984 new Godzilla is lighting up, and the specific website between Shounen Ric and another third-party marketer will give you the base price, and you don't have to put down the whole amount. You can now put down payments. So comment, like, subscribe. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Give me some suggestions of what you'd like to see next. And again, 4.5 out of 5 Cool Kicks for both Hong Kong's landing Shounen Ric X-Plus 30th centimeter. Coming at you. This is Cool Kicks and the Mighty Sailor saying thank you. Comment, like, subscribe. Another Cookie Guy review.